We've all been sold a version of the American dream. Whether you're American or not, you earn the degree, you get a good job, you climb the ladder, you buy a house, you have a stable life. But what if that's not a dream, but a nightmare in waiting? What if it's just an outdated blueprint? And what if that blueprint is a trap? A year ago, I was living inside that trap, playing corporate Tetris in big tech, constantly twisting my skills and interests to fit into roles where they never quite belong. Today, I'm running my own coaching consulting business from Bangkok after deciding that the only way to truly escape that trap was to leave America itself. And I share this with you because it's the plot twist that broke my career blueprint and revealed a new way of thinking. My goal today is to give you the exact principles that I discovered so that you have a starting point to redesign for your own. The irony of my last week at LinkedIn, well, it was thick. I was leading a big customer experience initiative, we call it Magic Carpet, and the goal was to completely redesign how we supported our most valuable customers. It had the right executive buy-in, and it was ready to be piloted. And the pilot was scheduled to be launched on a Monday morning. But at 6:20 a.m., I got that meeting invite. You know what I'm talking about. The meeting with HR and your VP, and the project that I poured my heart into that was supposed to go live that very hour. Well, instead, the first call that I made after I was let go was with my main stakeholder, telling her, sorry, I'm not going to be making that launch meeting at the top of the hour because by the end of today, I'm losing all my access. And then the universe delivered a big punchline. Later that week, I was fortunately accepted into the education doctorate program at the University of Illinois, where now I'm researching how to make work and talent development more human. The exact moment the system told me that, well, this human was disposable was the moment that it gave me the key to redesign the blueprint that I was following so carefully, but now had so many cracks. Well, let's just totally break it now. That was the gut punch of a career shock, but I didn't see it as something that was ending, simply an impetus to shift. It was a moment that forced me to stop following somebody else's blueprint and start writing my own. It was the catalyst for the mission that I have today, to advance authentic potential through strengths. Now let's talk about the classic blueprint. It's one that's handed down to us, designed in a 19th century industrial age for a world that no longer exists. Its rules were simple. Get a stable job, be loyal to a company, and spend your career fixing your weaknesses and staying within the confines of your role that you've been assigned so that you're a well-rounded, useful employee. Well, as a first-generation college grad and son of Filipino immigrants, that blueprint wasn't just a path, that was the American dream that my parents sacrificed for. And following it precisely felt like it was the only way to honor it. And I know my mom would go and screenshot every job update I had when I joined Deloitte after college, when I joined LinkedIn after my MBA, and I'm sure she sent it to her best friends. You know, I was the good son who made it, and yeah, I was proud to make her proud. That feeling of carrying your parents' dreams, of seeing their pride in your success, well, it's a powerful motivator, but it's also pride that has its own kind of gravity. It's holding you down a path that's been envisioned for you. So the whole time, my passion, my through line, well, was coaching. During my MBA, I got my own coach, and then I became a Gallup certified strengths coach, and I dabbled in having my own clientele, but it was only when I brought it to LinkedIn where my beliefs in strengths caught fire. I formed partnerships with directors across many departments who believed in the value of a strengths-based approach. I coached over 1,000 of my colleagues, and they saw what I saw. People could achieve so much more by focusing on what they're already great at. It was my first attempt to redesign from the inside of the system, proving that when you can build a foundation on what people are naturally great at, you ignite incredible growth. Well, so after the layoff, I decided, well, I had to become my own strengths coach for me. I leaned heavily into the work of Stanford professors Bill Burnett and Dave Evans in their book, Designing Your Life. It's a book that I first read a decade ago during my MBA, and revisiting it now sits a bit different. The whole idea that you don't just figure out your life, you build a way forward. Instead of just tearing everything down, you start to run some small experiments. You prototype different versions of your future. But then that plot twist, right? It ignited a breakthrough. I stared at my empty calendar. I realized that the old blueprint, well, it wasn't cracked, it was shattered. And that's when that real redesign began. It meant that I wasn't just simply finding another job, just plugging myself back into that old same system, because that was a losing strategy. The old questions would never lead to new answers. So I stopped asking the old broken question, what job should I get next? And started asking what I believe is a much better question, a more generative question, right out of the design thinking playbook. What kind of life do I want to design? And what experiments can I run to test it? Now, my mom asked me a question that any loving parent would. Are you sure about this, Bryant? What about your job security? And I had to be honest with her. I said, Mom, what job security? The American dream that was sold to us promised stability. But the reality is that there's constant anxiety. So I'd rather bet on myself than wait on a career that somebody else could give me. Perhaps I'm just a sitting duck in corporate. Now, by the way, if any of this is resonating with you, if you've ever felt that anxiety, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells me that we're on the right track. Now, the old career blueprint, that's obsolete. It was prescriptive. It told you exactly what to do. The new model is generative. It gives you the tools to design an ecosystem for yourself. It's built on a foundation of your unique strengths, an ecosystem that can weather any career shock. But designing a new blueprint requires something that the American dream rarely gives you: a space to breathe. When Thailand launched its own digital nomad visa, it was the final signal I needed to make a leap and become an expat. So moving to Bangkok gave me the space to start architecting a new life. The journey so far has taught me 3 core principles that I'm using as a foundation for my redesign, and I'm sharing them because I believe they can be a starting point for your redesign too. 1, your potential is portable, your job is not. The old blueprint that tells you to be loyal to a company, well, that's gone. The new one tells you to be loyal to your own potential, your greatest strengths, your deepest knowledge. You own that. 2, your environment is everything. You need to find or build an environment where your strengths are the default setting. For me, that meant leaving a place that was draining my finances and my creativity. 3, you are the curriculum. Now, this is the fuel for your redesign. Your unique perspectives, your scars, your background, and especially your innate strengths. These are the raw material that you will use to architect your new blueprint. Now, you don't need to get a doctorate to be the curriculum. You just need to take one step in redesigning your blueprint, that one experiment. Now, your corporate scars, they're not a sign of failure. In fact, they're proof that you've survived building something from a blueprint that wasn't designed for you. It's not a liability, it's your adaptability. The challenge is to stop trying to follow somebody else's outdated blueprint and just pick up the pen yourself and write your own, because you deserve to be an architect for your own career, for your own life. So if you're ready to stop just surviving and start building and thriving, please hit that subscribe button. This channel is our laboratory to figure this out together. So come join me, Bryant Ventures, and let's venture to where your strengths live.